My name is Olaleke Paul Akande, an experienced agriculture professional. I currently work for the Institute of Export Operations and Management, a trade and investment support institution based in Port Harcourt, Nigeria. In 2018, I was privileged to be part of the participant in the Australia African Award Scholarship for short course. I undertook the Agribusiness short course. The focus of that short course was the value chain thinking approach to agribusiness. This short course was hosted by the University of Queensland in Brisbane, Australia. The Australia experience had made me to understand that knowing the attribute that consumers valued in a product and are willing to pay for, and working out to create such value will automatically create a market for such products. As part of that short course, we are to undertake a reintegration project. I selected the agricultural value chain because of the importance of it in the Niger Delta and Nigeria generally. Specifically, we chose catfish for this project because of the prevalence of catfish farming in the region. They are hardy to adverse environmental conditions. They can survive in low dissolved oxygen environment. They can even survive with high salinity or low acidity of the water, and very easy to breed, unlike tilapia, which is so fragile and it's not really easy to breed, and you can't really grow tilapia to a table size at the same period you grow catfish. And we choose the catfish because that's the only fish we can say that it's economically viable right now in the Niger Delta. So I started the project from the consumer focus group, just as we learn in the short course in Australia, to know the attributes of fish, either dry or fresh, that consumer prefer, they value it, and they will be willing to pay for it if the actors in the value chain are able to provide it.
Whenever I go to market to buy fish, if I want to buy catfish, I will look for the sizable one, that's the big size.
Maybe if I wanted to use it in, maybe let me say in a local way, pounded yam, pepper soup, the dry one is better than the fresh. But the fresh one, if I wanted to use in, let me say pepper soup, rice, all those kind of things, I prefer buying the fresh one.
Environment and the place has a lot to do to attract you. The environment of that person attracts and builds the relationship with the person. So environment matters a lot.
Some of the attributes that the consumer valued and they are willing to pay for include size of the fish, wholeness of the fish, shelf life of the dry fish, importance of them, and some other attributes that they mentioned are so important to them. So the data we gather from the consumer focus group that we did and the intercept interview that we did, we now use it to walk the chain upstream. We started this from the retailer, which were the closest to the consumer, to ask them if they actually know about these attributes that consumer prefer and they are willing to pay for.
What is there? Like all these fish when we sell, when we buy sometimes, like some people will come, they will complain, say these fish are the one that I bought the other time, it is not sweet. How this one is there? We will tell and say, well, this one is different from that one because they are different species.
I train fish, I dry, I sell to retailers, I sell to wholesalers as well. So there's one we call plain drying, there's one we call pepper drying. Some want it somehow like baked, to be that dried. Customers give me feedback, like there was day before yesterday I processed one, it got burnt, so she has to reject it, I have to replace it. So I do according to my customer's wish.
From our analysis or from our interaction with this processor, they are more aware of the specification from the consumer more than the retailer or wholesaler. when we go to the farm, most of the time we visited the farm when they are actually carrying out selling activity, which gives us the privilege to see the interaction between the farmers and either the wholesaler or retailer who are buying directly from them.
Last month precisely, some of my customers said if they dry the fish do reduce to an extent. I tend to look at what could be the possible cause. So I do listen to their complaint and see how to encourage them to remain in the market, because if they are not in the market, I myself will leave the business, and without the customer, I'm nowhere to be found.
So when it comes to fish production too, genetics actually matters a lot. So for we don't use small fishes to hatch. Some people can say any fish that has eggs, they can use it to hatch, but we said no. The size of the mother determines the offsprings. So the end users at the end of the day wants to they complain to the producer who produce from there, but they also complain to us who actually they post produce fingerlings. So what would I do? Tell them, say, don't buy from any place at all. Sure of where you buy from.
So looking at these critical values that the consumer has told them, and the actor that we have interacted with, and how they can better improve their production or activity or the value chain in general, the consumer have told us that they want a certain size, so that can be controlled on the farm by the way they feed their fish. If they feed according to body mass or a standard feeding rate, they follow it well, which means they are going to get the regular size at the right time.
For you to have that maximum output, if your water level is okay, your management is okay, when your feeding is not okay, you will not have results.
Another critical area that can also be controlled on the farm is the taste of the fish. Water management is critical on the farm. One, if you don't change the water regularly, the water generates a kind of off flavor that will affect the fish and will affect the taste of the fish. And another critical value that for us, to me personally, surprised me is the neatness of the seller, and the control point is the retailer. The environment should be clean, the person should be well dressed, and they should display the fish in a neat way that will attract consumer to them and eventually pay for the value that are being created along the chain. From the recommendation so far that we are given to each actors of the value chain, so far so good. Myself, I'll be working with some people that we've identified that we're ready to implement some of these recommendations. Like we have identified a value chain champion, the person of Mr. Israel Yusuf, that have been working with us tirelessly throughout the project to work with other actors in the value chain in order to strengthen the value chain as a whole. Finally, I want to appreciate first the Australian government for funding this Australia Award project, which I was part of it. And I want to thank the University of Queensland and also the delivery team that did marvelously well, that make us understand the value of the value chain thinking approach. And finally, to all the actors of the aquaculture value chain that I met throughout this project, I want to especially appreciate you. Eshe Adupeo Imela Nangode. Thank you so much.